You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space.
Hey, it's Nate, and today I am doing Against All Odds by Phil Collins. Such a classic recording built around a great piano part. I think you're gonna love playing it. Let's just jump in. Alright, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description. That's going to help you follow along and see where the chords line up with the words. We'll start out with that iconic intro. Here's the underlying chords for that, but when we're done with it, it's going to sound like this. I just want to note this song is in 4/4 time, so each measure in this song gets 4 counts, and we're thinking a fast 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to just show you note for note how to play this part. Here's the first two measures. I've got the counts in the middle. The right hand notes are up top and the left hand notes are at the bottom. Notice we are thinking in eighth notes, so dividing the beat in half, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's start with the left hand, which is super simple. We're on E flat here, almost 2 octaves below middle C here. I'm using my 5th finger, and we're just on E flat for the first measure, and then up to A flat. You can use your 2nd finger there for the second measure. E flat, 2, 3, 4, A flat, 2, 3, 4. Although I did skip over, there's another E flat there on beat 4 of the first measure, and that would be a high E flat there you can do with your first finger. I think that's sort of optional, but that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's look at the right hand, and now I'm going to be thinking in the 8th notes because we need them for the rhythms here. We're going to start E flat and D flat here. Let me use my 2nd and 3rd finger there, and then A flat right after that, and that's just 1 and 2. So hit the B flat on the 2nd finger there on beat 2. 1 and 2, and then we're gonna jump up to this G flat here with the 5th finger. 1 and 2, and so far we've played on every possible 8th note in the measure. 1 and 2 and 3. And so we don't play on beat 3. We do play the F on the and after 3, and then nothing else in the right hand for the rest of the measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It really helps to use the sustain pedal for this. We do want all of those notes ringing out. We're just going to do a quick lift when we get to the next measure. Okay, that's most of it. The next measure is going to sound like this. So we're going to hit on beat 1, 3 notes, C, E flat, and a high B flat. Immediately on the and after 1, we can just come down to the A flat and then hit C on beat 2. So just the first 3 eighth notes of the measure. 1 and 2. Okay, so the whole thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Let's add the left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So it hits that high E flat right after the right hand hits the F there. Okay, so you're probably hearing it in your head. It does go around again. Here's what it's going to look like. The first measure is the same thing again. But then we're just going to land on a root position A flat chord, and that's all that it does in that measure. So A flat, C, and E flat, and just because we're coming off those high notes with these fingers, I like to just use 1, 2, and 3 to finger that A flat triad. So let me play that whole intro one more time, and I'll do it on the slow side. Cool, let's take a look at the first verse. Here are the chords for that. So first chord is a B flat minor 7, left hand B flat. I like using my 2nd finger there, and then A flat, D flat, and F. Then we've got a C minor 7. So everything just kind of steps up. Got a bass C here, and then B flat, E flat, and G. Next up, we've got a D flat add 2. So I like to cross over my 3rd finger here for the D flat bass note. And then in the right hand, you can do D flat, E flat, F, and A flat. And then finally for this line, we've got a E flat minor 7. So you can keep your first finger on the D flat there and your second finger there, and then just kind of stretch out the top notes to a G flat and a B flat. I'm using my second finger here for the E flat bass note. And before we go further, let's talk a little bit about the rhythm. Overall, in the right hand, I'm going to be playing half notes, so every other count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, playing on beats 1 and 3. And you can also add an extra left hand hit on beat 4 of every measure. So this line would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, moving on to the next line, we've got this G flat add 2. Gonna just come up to my first finger on the G flat here, and then we can just move our right hand up. It's a nice easy chord here, just all these 3 black keys plus the D flat up here. And then we've got an A flat over G flat. Love the sound of that. So we can just step the right hand up, do A flat, C, and E flat, and just keep that G flat in the left hand. Now we've got this F minor 7. So that's a really smooth transition. You can keep the right hand right where it is and do F there in the left hand. Then we're going to do big jump down here to B flat minor. So F, B flat, and D flat. So far we got, how can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh. Okay, just 2 more chords left. You're the only one. So this E flat minor, we're doing an inversion. B flat, E flat, and G flat. Low E flat here. I see some people play it by adding the 7th there. I don't hear that in the recording though, but if you like it, you could add it. And that's for 2 measures. 2, 2, 3, 4, A flat. Nice and simple here. Just the same root position A flat major chord we've been doing before, and that's also for 2 measures. 2, 3, 4. In a sec, I'll play through this whole verse, but first I just want to add a couple of extra details here, and you can consider these optional. For the B flat minor 7, he does on the first hit do a sus4. So instead of the D flat, you can do the first hit on the E flat and then step it down. So then this is all the same as I showed you. And then he does, interestingly, for this E flat minor 7 chord, each time he plays this in the song, he does only the bottom 3 notes for the first hit, and then he adds that high B flat for the second hit. Just a little variation there. Then we've got the G flat. So instead of just staying on the F minor 7 here, you can, for the second hit, jump your hand down to basically just an A flat position in the octave below. And we're gonna do the B flat, C, and E flat there just for 1 hit, and then rock down to play the A flat. And that's gonna be 3, 4 for the rhythm. So that measure would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that flows really nicely to the B flat. And you can do a little same rhythm there with rocking. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he only does the single notes there. And then the last line is exactly as I showed you. So here's a slow playthrough. And just to note, this song is in a terrible key for my voice. It's either a little bit too high or really low, but I'm gonna sing it down an octave. If you can sing it in the same register as Phil Collins, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh, you're the only one who really knew me at all. Awesome, and then it just goes right into the second verse. How can you just walk away from me? Here are the chords to the second verse. It is essentially the same thing. The only difference is in that last line, instead of 2 measures of the A flat, one of the measures is an A flat sus4, where we just do the D flat before bringing it down to the C. So from that E flat minor, you're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. So we're really building anticipation for the chorus there with that sus4. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further, I do hear fifths in the left hand on the recording where he's rocking back and forth between the A flat and the E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Just you can play it loose, but feel free to add that in. Adds a little bit more energy. Yeah, and then we are in the chorus. Here's the chords for that. Right off the bat, I'm going to go to octaves in the left hand. It makes things a little bit more powerful. Now, if you can't make that stretch, you could still do single bass notes, maybe go down the octave lower. But so we've got this D flat over A flat. So we're doing A flat octaves and then A flat, D flat, and F here. And we've got two measures of that. It's going to be, so take a look at me now. 3, 4, 1, 2, because there's just an empty space. So this E flat 7 over A flat. We're just keeping the left hand in the same spot on that A flat. Moving the right hand up, we've got B flat, D flat, E flat, and G. Really cool sounding chord there. Once again for two measures there. And there's nothing left here. So B flat minor. We haven't hit that exact inversion of the regular B flat yet, but that's just the root position. B flat, D flat, and F. I'm doing those B flat octaves to remind me. So getting to this G flat triad is pretty easy. We're just moving down to the G flat octaves, and the only thing the right hand has to change is just move that F up to the G flat. And then from there, we have a really smooth transition to the E flat minor. So I'm going to come up to the higher octaves here in the left hand, and the only thing in the right hand that needs to change is go from the D flat to the E flat. And then finally for that line, we've got an A flat sus4, and it doesn't resolve it this time, it just stays on it before we're going to kind of start the progression over again. So the next line and a half is just the same thing again. Oh, take a look at me now. 'Cause there's just an empty space, and you coming back to me is against the odds, and that's what I've gotta face. Okay, so instead of going to the A sus4 here, we're gonna go up an octave higher, and it's gonna last for two measures, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then resolve down to A flat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple optional, more advanced details I want to touch on would be the rhythm on these first few chords. He does something like this. So using some eighth notes there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The real key part there being hitting the left hand octaves on the and after 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can do some of those offbeat eighth note hits throughout all these chords if you want. It just adds a little bit of excitement. And then on the A flat sus4 here, you can just build it. You can just do 1 and 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 and 3. And then the final thing I will say is after we get to the part where we're doing the high A sus4, he does something kind of cool here, leading into the next verse. So after we've resolved down to the A flat chord here for beats 3 and 4, and just the last little bit of that last measure, we just jump down an octave, and you can just go up that A flat chord, including the high octave. A flat, C, E flat, A flat, 1, 2, 3, 5 for the fingers, and hit the left hand octaves as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wish I could just make you. Again, so that's going into verse 3. Let me just play through that whole chorus slowly. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space. There's nothing left here to remind me, just the memory of your face. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space, and you coming back to me is again against the odds, and that's what I've gotta face. I wish. Okay, so let's look at verse 3. Here's the chorus for that, and actually there's nothing really new here. It's just like the second verse, ending with that A flat sus4 before resolving down to the A flat, but I am going to do octaves the whole time. And you can do the beat 4 notes on just the top note if you want, but I'm going to do all the same details. Just note that after the B flat minor, I'm going to go up to the higher octaves, even though we traveled down before, just because it gets a little bit low in there. But that's it. Then we've got the second chorus. It looks like that. Notice that is the exact same thing I showed you for the first chorus, but there's a little repeat sign after the second line. So it's going to do that whole first 2 lines again. That repeat sign takes you back to the beginning, not just that line again. So this chorus is essentially 3 times through the progression instead of just 2. And then it's going to end. It is going to go to those high A flat sus4 chords, and then just hit the A flat here and just hold out for the 2 measures before we're going to get to the outro. So, and you coming back to me is against all odds, is the chance I've got to take. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we are in the outro. So here's the underlying chords for the outro, and it starts just like the intro did. It does basically the whole intro, and then it starts to do what sounds like it's going to be another time through the intro, and then it veers off in this different and final direction. Here's what it's all going to sound like. So after we're on that E flat bit, in the last line, we're gonna hit this D flat sus2. So it's the A flat, D flat, and E flat in the right hand while coming down to a D flat bass note here. You might wanna change your fingers a little bit, maybe cross your thumb under as we go down. I feel like I do it different every time. But we hit that and then a high A flat. And starting here, the tempo really slows down. Rather than worry about the counting too much, I think just use your ear and just feel it out, drag it out. So on that D flat sus2. So we hit that note and then we hit an E flat as a melody note. Da, da, da. Okay. Now we're going to come down to this A flat sus2 over C. So we've got A flat, B flat, and E flat with the C in the bass note. And then you do hit that high A flat melody note again, but that time you don't come back down to the E flat. It's just... So far from the D flat sus2 we've got... Now just 2 more hits left in the song. It's going to be... really cool sounding chord. Gonna go down to a super low G flat in the left hand. In the right hand I got a D flat, a G flat, an A flat, and a B flat. Kind of like doing 1, 2, 3, 4 there, so that we can step up to this A flat add 2. So these 2 fingers stay where they are. And we got the A flat bass note here, and then E flat, A flat, B flat, and a C there. And then you just let that ring out, and then the song is over. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full playthrough so you can see how all those parts we've talked about fit together in the complete song. And just a reminder, I am singing this down an octave lower, otherwise it's just a little too high for me to pull off, but this is the original key, and if you can do it, sing it in his higher register. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, also subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Okay, here is my version of Against All Odds.
How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace? When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh, You're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave? 'Cause we've shared the laughter and the pain, and even shared the tears. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space, and there's nothing left here to remind me, just the memory of your face. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space, and you coming back to me is against the odds, and that's what I've gotta face. I wish I could just make you turn around and see me cry. There's so much I need to say to you, so many reasons why. You're the only one who really knew